On today's Finding Equalman show, we're coming to you from world-famous Equalman Studios in Austin, Texas. And you might see Bruno Mars walking behind me here. But we're going to talk all about the 5 super tips that everyone needs to know when it comes to podcasting.
Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. I'm just doing what I do. Won't stop doing what I do.
Hey, it's #1 best-selling author and motivational speaker, Erik Qualman. A lot of you know me as Equalman. On today's Finding Equalman show, we're always looking to unlock and unleash your inner superpower. We're going to talk all about podcasting. What's old is new again. Podcasts are exploding. I know I listen to a couple myself a week, and I know you do too. But most importantly for this episode, I want to talk to all of you that are starting your own podcast. As many of you know, I am the host of Samsung's podcast, Business Disrupted, and we also do our own podcast here at Equalman Studios called Super You, a podcast that's designed to unlock and unleash your inner superpower. Not about leading a perfect life, but being the perfect you. So without further ado, we're going to go over the top 5 tips we've learned through trial and error in the hope that our pain and pitfalls will help you avoid them, even though it is somewhat part of the process. But here's our 5 podcasting tips. Our #1 podcasting tip is that 90% of the work needs to be in pre-production. So only 10% is the actual recording and post-production. It's so true, a stitch in time saves 9 when it comes to podcasting. So understand all that prep work is evil, but it's necessary. The podcast also doesn't need to be expensive to produce. You don't need to be an amazing studio like we are right now in Equalman Studios in Austin, Texas. A lot of times we do our Super You podcast using only $150 in equipment. So get in the arena. Saying it's expensive, that's why you haven't done your podcast, that's just a bad excuse. Anyone get out there, less than $150, so get out there and try again. Your podcast also doesn't need to be 100% original content. Make sure you curate out there. Heck, I know I get sick of hearing my own voice, so I can only imagine how you feel out there. So it's really about combining the best with your original content. The one unique thing about podcasting, though, is you need to lead with the headline. Even though it's a story, always lead with the headline to make sure they get hooked in from the beginning. So an example of that, a better headline or a better lead-in is learn why Vince Lombardi, the great Green Bay Packers coach, never coached on a Sunday in his life. Now in my mind, that's a really strong lead-in. Now a moderate lead-in for the same episode would have simply been failing to plan is planning to fail. Well, that's good. It's not as enticing as the Lombardi lead-in. And when it comes to your first podcast, make sure you commit to 10 episodes. Why do you commit to 10 episodes? Because you'd give up after the first or second one. This stuff is hard, and the first couple are not going to be good. The first 9 are not going to be good. So it's all about committing to the 10, and then over time, you'll start to get in a good cadence from failing fast, failing forward, failing better. My hope is that our tips around podcasts are going to help you avoid some of the failures and pitfalls that we encountered. And my first and foremost thing is go out there and do it. If you've got it in your mind to do a podcast, do it. You can start it for under $150. Just start making it happen. If you enjoyed today's Finding Equalman show, remember it's the show where we're trying to unlock and unleash your inner superpower by curating and combining some of the top performers' tips and tricks and life hacks so that you can lead not your perfect life, but so that you can be your perfect you. Make sure you subscribe to be sure you don't miss our next episode. And until next time, remember, it's not what we take from this world, it's what we leave behind. A good lead-in would simply be my hope is the tips around this make sure you subscribe so you get the weekly. We had a